Chapter 2, Commercial Involvement by Wes Timmons. Going to the moon initially was no small endeavor, and getting back there, let alone making an enduring presence there, is an even greater venture. Due to this fact and the overwhelming achievements in technology in the private sector, NASA has decided to integrate commercial companies into their framework in order to achieve the Artemis program goals. The duties they have outsourced are in two main arenas, the first being freight to and from the moon, the second being landing and taking off from the lunar orbit to the lunar surface with humans aboard. The Commercial Lunar Payload Services, or CLPS program, CLPS for short, is the name of the first program. It's mainly focused on freight payloads. Their main goal is currently sending payloads to the moon to establish a moon base. There are 14 companies that are involved in the CLPS program. The other mission, which NASA has decided to outsource, is the creation and operation of their Human Lander System, or HLS, program. There were 5 companies that initially bid to get funding for this project. NASA chose 3 of them to move forward in funding with research and development. Those 3 companies were Dynetics. They received $253 million. SpaceX would receive $135 million. And finally, Blue Origin received $579 million. These 3 companies worked and produced their own prototype for the Human Lander System. Of these 3 companies, NASA finally chose SpaceX and their Starship HLS ultimately as the winner. After not being chosen for the Human Lander System program, Blue Origin filed a lawsuit against SpaceX and NASA. This ultimately slowed the program down with the court systems by nearly a year. SpaceX won the lawsuit and Blue Origin's claims were denied. The work towards the Artemis program, with SpaceX's lunar Starship as the hub of the HLS program, is back underway, and the projected date to put humans on the moon is now 2025. Elon Musk personally invested $100 million of his own money into the company to further the programs because his ultimate goal is to have the human race colonize another planet. Musk lays out a very straightforward scenario where we either stay on Earth and eventually an apocalyptic event takes place and the human race is wiped out, or we spread out and colonize amongst the planets and therefore raise our odds of survival. From 2010 until now, SpaceX has been hard at work perfecting their Falcon 9 rocket system. The Falcon 9 rocket is a propulsion system that allows for the boosters to be reused because they can be landed and recovered after launch. This system allows for a much more economical launch than any of the other competitors could provide. The Falcon program eventually has culminated into the Falcon Heavy, which is 3 Falcon rockets at their highest stages of development strapped together for a massive payload. It was due to this fact and the inexpensive approach SpaceX has come up with that NASA has selected them to handle the transportation of cargo from here to the moon's orbit and the lunar surface. SpaceX has been awarded $2.6 billion by NASA to accomplish this goal. SpaceX's contribution to the Artemis program is twofold. First, Dragon 2 or Crew Dragon is a reusable spacecraft developed and manufactured by SpaceX and is intended as the successor to the Dragon cargo spacecraft. It is launched atop a Falcon 9 Block 5 and returns to Earth via ocean splashdown. There are plans to use this system, combining the Dragon crew capsule and Falcon 9 Heavy rocket, to do a lunar flyby for the Artemis 8 mission. In addition to that, SpaceX will be providing the Human Lander System in the form of a variation of their Starship that was designed to go to Mars, called the Lunar Starship. It will be designed specifically for the lunar surface. It will possibly be intended as a living area after it's no longer in use as well. The top area is crew, living quarters, and cargo. The bottom area is propellant and rocket boosters. The Starship is fueled by subcooled liquid methane and liquid oxygen, which is believed to be readily available on the surface of the moon through chemical extraction processes. The journey and workload of the lunar Starship is projected to follow this path. The Starship leaves Earth's atmosphere and achieves orbit around Earth. There it will refuel multiple times in order to make the trip to the moon. Once at the moon, it will enter the moon's orbit. Then it will rendezvous with the Gateway. Once attached to Gateway, the astronauts from Orion will transfer to the lunar Starship and use it to shuttle themselves to and from the lunar surface. All cargo will be handled by Starship and SpaceX. However, the transportation of humans to and from the moon will be done with the Orion and SLS system. As far as I can tell, the purpose of this may be political. From the apparent specs, SpaceX's equipment far exceeds what NASA's been able to produce over the same time span. Rest assured, the main workload of the Artemis program will be handled by independent contractors, mainly SpaceX.